iNFLUWURKers. My name is Summer Clark, and in this episode of the Influencer Q&A series, I'm going to be talking to beauty and lifestyle influencer Sarah Miles. I'm going to be learning more about Sarah's influencing career, including her top secret to success and advice for other influencers. Without further ado, let's get straight into the Q&A.
So, do you just want to take a moment to briefly introduce yourself first and foremost?
Yeah, so I'm Sarah. I have been what kind of introduction, like about me or my blog or
Everything. So you as yourself, and then as an influencer as well. So you and then your sort of online presence.
Yep. So hi, I'm Sarah. I live in Gloucestershire, and I have been working in marketing and social media, digital marketing for about the last 10 years.
Awesome.
I also, as a side hustle, have my lifestyle and beauty blog, which I went self-hosted on about 6-7 years ago, and I love blogging, I love writing, I love working with brands, and I just really enjoy the whole process of creating content.
Amazing. When you say self-hosted, do you mean like moving off of a free sort of site for your blog?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, cool. So you have your own like domain. Do they call it? Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. How long ago was that? Sorry.
It was about I think it was probably about 6-7 years ago, but I'm going to say 5-ish because I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, so you're quite experienced then.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it's great that you enjoy it so much as well. You know, it's nice to have a side hustle that's not too much pressure, you know, that's still really fun.
I love it so much.
Definitely. And I bet it helps being in sort of social media professionally as well. You know, marketing.
Yeah, definitely. Although actually, the blog was the catalyst for working in social media and marketing.
Oh, really?
So not the other way around.
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
I've effectively been blogging and kind of on the old Blogger, as it was, and then with just not even with social media really, when I left university.
Wow.
And then took it more seriously probably about 12-13 years ago, and then developed my own social media and content, created my own platforms, started working with PRs and brands, and then really my love for marketing and social media came from there, and that's where I kind of decided to pivot and go into that as a career.
Oh, amazing. What did you study at uni?
I studied journalism, so
I
went to uni, and for years and years and years I only ever wanted to be a newspaper or magazine journalist.
Oh, okay.
Came out of uni and decided that that's not what I wanted to do at all.
Does seem like that, doesn't it? That it works like that.
Yeah.
It happened to me too.
Yeah. Which in a way is kind of probably now a blessing in disguise, because obviously the print world is very, very different world than it was
definitely
back then.
Yeah, not as much in demand.
No, definitely not. So yeah, I think the online space is such a fantastic space, and you can just, and I love I've actually created online relationships with people, but I've actually created offline friendships.
Okay.
Some bloggers who, through blogging, I've met in the same area I live.
Oh, I see.
And we've actually created really good friendships.
Oh, wow,
and
that's
if
amazing.
I never started blogging, I would never have known that these people did the same kind of thing within the area I live.
Yeah.
Going to events, being invited to events, we would turn up at the same things, and then kind of did some like co-working days, and you know, where you go out and like take photos of each other and stuff, doing different things, and then really we've just formed really good friendships from there.
That's so cool. It's like an additional benefit to, you know, being online.
Definitely.
That actually, you know, it's not all online. It does stem offline as well. That's so cool.
And I also love the fact that you can have, because I would count her as a friend, but we've literally never spoken in real life or met in real life, and yet I've got another friend who works in a similar kind of career to me, and we message each other all the time. And I've only ever seen her online. I've only ever, don't know what her voice sounds like.
Yeah, but you still have that connection.
Yeah, we've created a great online relationship, friendship, but literally wouldn't know, like if I walk past her in the street, I possibly wouldn't recognise
Yeah.
her. But yeah, we live in completely different parts of the UK. But I've still managed to create this friendship online.
Yeah, that's incredible. And back to the uni thing as well, I think we all have to choose what we want to do way too early, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? So often what you study at uni and what you think you want to do is completely different to what you actually end up doing, because, you know, you're not the same person when you're older as you were when you were in school. So
not. Yeah, completely. And I think that you're right, there is a lot of pressure. And I think like I also think that in a way you're too young to make that decision.
Yeah.
It's almost like you need to do a trial run at uni.
Yeah, definitely.
To figure out whether that is what you want to do, and then be able to actually make a decision and then go and do the real thing.
Yeah, you don't know until you try, and by then it's too late. Well, not too late, but like you're in the course then. Do you know what I mean? You're doing it.
Yeah, and I think if I had my time again, I don't actually think I would go to university.
No, yeah.
I would think I would probably just do more kind of like life skills, life training, and just working with companies and brands more independently, because I don't think that anything that I've done with my blog or my career to date really has had an impact because I went to university and studied journalism.
Yeah, it's through doing it, isn't it?
More to do with like the blogging and then the working in social media and marketing.
Yeah.
Whereas nobody really, when I go to interviews and things, most people want to talk about my blog. I've never really been asked about my degree.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a really striking thing, because you go for 3 years, you get into debt, and no one really talks about.
Yeah. Everyone in school says it's so important, but then when you go to get a job, I think people look for what you've done off your own back more and what you've experienced for yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
for sure.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, and I do think that, definitely if I had my time again, I don't think that university would be my thing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people feel like that after uni. But at least you found what you love to do now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
So what is your niche as an influencer then? You said lifestyle.
Yeah, so I think I know lifestyle kind of really encompasses a lot of things.
Yeah.
I always say lifestyle and beauty because originally my blog started out as more of just a beauty only blog, where I would do product reviews and just those kind of things. I think then once I started being more visible on my social media, brands started contacting me and asked me to like review lots of different things and kind of write content about different things. I kind of decided to branch out into more lifestyle, which I think some people are like, that's a very, you can just say lifestyle covers so much, and it's true. I do on my blog, I do book reviews, like restaurant reviews, like food and drinks, so restaurant and bar reviews. I do like homes and interiors.
But I think people love that because all those things, that is someone's life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and everyone does those things, so everyone's interested.
I mean, I think if I was like, I am a book blogger, restaurant reviewer, food and drink.
You can't compact that into one niche, can you?
Like, it's a bit of a, it doesn't kind of sit like neatly and tidily.
Yes.
So like lifestyle and beauty, I think kind of covers all angles really. But yeah, I think I just really like doing all kinds of things, and I don't know whether that causes any concerns or any issues, because really they always say, don't they, you kind of stick to your niche so your audience don't get too confused about your kind of content that you're looking
for consistency
sharing. But I think actually that you can have an audience who are interested in all of those things.
Definitely.
Because I am that perfect person, because I love a bit of fashion, I love a bit of beauty, I love a bit of homes and stuff. I love a bit of like, books and discovering new local restaurants in the area that I live. So I kind of do feel that there is an area that an audience that are interested in all of those things.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like most people, I think more people are interested in a bit of everything in life, like you said, than, people that are only interested in like one particular thing. I think that's actually rarer, so.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully I think my audience does like the content that I share, and they do engage, so that's really good to see.
For sure. So what platforms are you active on then? Which is your favourite and why? So as far as different social media sites, stuff like that.
So obviously my blog.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever we're calling
Oh God,
it
who knows now? Yeah.
who knows? Which is hard, I think, to keep an engagement on that one at the minute.
Yeah.
Instagram, and I've just delved into TikTok.
Okay.
I would say I'm probably not cool enough to do TikTok, but I quite enjoy.
It's fun.
It. I really love Instagram. I am the kind of generation. I started with Instagram, and when Instagram started, it was the photo sharing platform.
Yeah,
like you literally would just share what you'd had for tea.
Literally, I remember that.
And so I've kind of seen the platform develop from there to where it is now. I love being able to engage with people so easily, so quickly. So to be able to, like I said, form those relationships with people that you don't know at all, but you, by creating that community aspect, you kind of just feel like you found I feel like on Instagram I found my tribe. Like, I know that's really like cliche, but
I know what you mean.
The people who are just really supportive,
like-minded people as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think on Instagram, I think it's a lot easier to find the people that who kind of share the same content as you, or content that you're really interested in that is relevant to you, as well as the content you're sharing and your audience like as well. I think that's why I like Instagram, and I really still like the aspects of Instagram, the old like photo sharing on the grid, as well as all the newer elements of the platforms that are coming in, and just the just really making it easy to communicate and talk to your audience. Whereas years ago, it was really only things like if somebody commented on a blog post, or if you had like an email newsletter and things like that, you never really were able to engage with people.
It was more you just putting stuff out and then that's it. It ended there, but now it doesn't.
It was like dead wall.
Yes, that's it.
Now it's like
there's so much to it now.
So much more to it, and I also kind of feel now that excuse me, that when you share your blog, years ago that kind of like used to be it. You press like send, and that was it. And I now feel that that's almost the start of the process now, rather than the end of the process.
For sure.
Got so much more work to do to engage with, to get people to engage with that post after you've pressed publish.
Definitely.
Whereas years ago, you used to press publish, and I sometimes
leave it,
turn my laptop off and like, oh yeah, it's out there, it's fine. Don't do anything at all. But now I think that having platforms like Instagram, TikTok, which still not sure about that, but
but even that started off just as like kids dancing, wasn't it, to like songs and stuff, and but now people are like sharing, informative stuff, educational stuff like that.
So I think and I love all the platform twists and changes. I love how they developed from where they started to kind of like where they, like Instagram, where it was to where it is now, like say TikTok, to where that has gone to in that short period of time, where they will go to in the future.
Definitely.
And what other platforms potentially will come out as well. So I think probably Instagram is the one I'm probably the most active on, I would say.
I mean, Instagram brought out Threads, didn't they? What do you reckon to that? I struggle with Threads, I do. I'm not too sure if it's like purpose still.
I was really, really excited with Threads, and I was one of those, hands up, I'm going to say, I was one of those geeky people that I'd literally got my account before like 7 o'clock that morning.
Really? Wow.
And I have barely used it.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Because I feel I don't know quite exactly what it does yet.
That's it.
Like, I don't quite know where it sits in with everything. I feel that the Threads is starting to try and come through, because obviously we've been seeing the Instagram promoting Threads on your page and stuff, and I think that's them starting to try and push it a bit more. But I'm still still don't know
Yeah, I'm the
where
same.
it sits. So
Yeah.
I'm really, I keep getting my notifications like, oh, this person's followed you, and I'm like,
I'm not going to do anything
I
about it. Yeah.
just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I've got my account, and I think I may have posted like less than a handful of times.
Yeah.
'Cause
It
I don't
has
know
potential,
what to
but it's
post.
just waiting for that sort of surface, isn't it?
And I think the thing is probably because all of the other platforms were, when I came to all of the other platforms that I'm on now, they were all pretty advanced.
Yeah.
So you kind of knew what to do, like, because other people have been doing it. Now,
Whether this one's brand new, isn't it?
Launched with all of us at the same time. Nobody really had any clue. It's like try and look for some like guide online to like how to use Threads, and there isn't.
And no one
really
knows.
anything,
Yeah.
because
No,
no
I
one
agree.
really knows. So, yeah, I think like you, I think it's got possibility, but just not quite sure where and how and when. So
it'll either die off or turn into something big. I think it's either one or the other.
Potentially, it could go like stratospheric, but who knows? But I think I'm going to keep my account, and I'm going to just do the sit and watch and wait.
Yeah.
And then, once we all know what happens with it, then I think everyone will be able to make a decision. But yeah, I was so excited because and I think at the time it was because obviously nobody really knew what was going on with Twitter X.
Yeah.
I have quite a large following on Twitter. And I thought, if I'm going to lose that following, I really want to be able to have a place.
Do a similar thing.
To be able to do a similar thing. Where I don't know if it's quite worked like that. And I'm guessing maybe a lot of other people thought the same. Because
I mean, the fact that X still exists.
Number of people that signed up on day one. But I don't know if that really followed through.
I mean, X still exists, doesn't it? So it's not even like Threads is there to take over it. It's just as well as
thing, isn't it?
No one needs it.
No, I think there was so much talk at the time of like Elon Musk shutting the platform down or making it paid. Nothing's really happened as such in that great detail. So Twitter X still exists. And I don't know if there's another room for something so similar.
Yeah, because there's already so many platforms, isn't there?
Crazy amount. I mean, it is insane. Because I just don't think you could do them all. I mean, I love Pinterest, but I don't do Pinterest.
But they're time consuming, aren't they? Like, creating content is so time consuming just for one platform, never mind all of them.
So I just stick to those. But yeah, Instagram is probably my favourite.
Cool. So how long have you been an influencer for then? So we'll start off with how long have you been just doing, like, having an online presence before you had a following, and then we'll do, the point where you had enough of a following to think, oh, I'm a bit of an influencer here. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. I effectively started a blog, which is not the same blog I have now, because I kind of binned it and restarted. But I kind of started in about 2012.
Okay.
So that's when I kind of had my blogger account as it was then, with like no features, the ability to do absolutely nothing at all, not even really edit pictures. I mean, it was so terrible. So really kind of been online, like publishing content since then, but not as in really literally pressing publish and doing nothing at all, because there was nothing to do at that point.
The basic of the basic.
I think I kind of made the decision to go self-hosted, and possibly I could have done it a little bit earlier, because I'd started building up a following on social media. I started working with brands, and I think when I understood more about like how domain authority works, and when you kind of get your domain authority building up, that brands start to look at you a bit more and look at those kind of numbers and stuff. So I think I kind of really started working on that probably 7-ish years ago, and started really working on my SEO, building my social media platforms up, and then obviously decided to migrate my blog across. I was on the free version of WordPress then, so
Mhm.
went self-hosted onto WordPress with my now current blog. Bought my domain, and yeah, I've started building up my DA and being able to kind of have those numbers and stats behind me to kind of then share those with brands who may want to work with me. So yeah, I've been doing stuff online for quite a while now.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of experience, which is great.
Yeah.
So, I've lost where I am. So how did you become an influencer within your niche then? So we've kind of already answered this one. So I'll sort of ask you that question in the sense of all those years ago in 2012, what made you want to start your blog? Like when you first decided to get online, what made you do that?
I think for me, I have always, so from doing my degree and doing journalism, I've always loved writing and creative writing. And I had kind of loved the idea of like anything beauty. I was always like, going into the drugstores and buying all the new products and literally having cupboards full of things. And I actually thought this would combine two of my really big passions together of trying out beauty reviews and being able to share my opinions with people.
And writing.
And writing at the same time. And I really loved the idea of as it was then, the more freer blog writing, as in it's not like restrictive writing that you do at university, as in the essays and the dissertations.
Yeah, following a structure.
Free. It's more your opinion, your ideas, and there's no real, I mean, obviously people can be critical of it, but it's your own ideas, your own opinions. So if someone else doesn't agree with it, well, that's what blog writing is. So I really just love the ability to be able to free write and not, and in some respects, not take it too seriously.
Yeah, writing essays takes the fun out of it, doesn't it? It's not the same.
Like nothing about like referencing and all of that. Just really just enjoying all of that. And then I think from there, I just kind of really loved the idea of doing that. And then understanding more about social media and how the power of social media and creating your audience and your following, and then being able to use that as a promotional platforms to get more people to the blog and stuff like that. So I kind of, when I started, I didn't really understand the whole process, I guess.
Yeah.
Because at the time it didn't really feel like there was a process. I literally would just press publish and that would be it. But
now there's a very long process.
Learning more about it, and it ever evolving and ever changing. So I think just really, the love of beauty and being able to write. I also started writing a novel at the time, which I'm still working on. But I just love writing, and I find it really, I guess in a way, just really relaxing to be able to just write.
Therapeutic.
Enjoy. Yeah, very therapeutic, very cathartic, very emotive as well. And I just feel that I just enjoy it. And some of my friends would say to me, well, you're sat on a laptop on a Saturday morning, like, do you not want to, do you find that like really annoying that you're sat on a laptop and you could be out and about? And I'm like, but I'm doing something I really enjoy. It doesn't feel like I'm missing out on things because I take great pleasure.
It's not like you're working because it's your hobby.
So I think from there, really, that's kind of how it all just developed really for me. And then coming into the more lifestyle niche, I think was when I guess brands started noticing me and wanting to work with me a bit more. And then really things naturally developed when I kind of got my own home. You become a bit more interested in like homes and interiors and like those kind of things, and like going to do all your decorating and just kind of like thinking, okay, if I'm interested in this kind of stuff, are my audience interested in this kind of stuff? So like just sharing a bit of those kind of like, what my dream home would be like, and if I ever could afford like my dream bedroom, what I would have in it, and what furniture and things like that. So I just think that it comes from a natural place of what I love and what I'm interested in. Then kind of I just share that content on my blog.
Would you say
Sometimes
you're more...
I forget that there are people out there that read it, and I just use it
you just do it anyway.
Just a bit like a diary, I guess. I forget that there are people out there reading this stuff.
Would you say you're more active on your blog or social media these days then? Is the social media purely just off the back of each blog post? Or
no, I definitely think there's been a switch. I think I'm much more active on social media now. I would say that's probably the last few years. Pre that, I would say, I really kind of only use social media to promote the blogs and stuff. But it's definitely more now. Like if you get invited to an event, for an example, it's all about doing things like stories and sharing, like maybe even a live video whilst you're there on your social platforms. Whereas obviously I would potentially still maybe then follow up with a blog post or a piece of content, but it's more heavily weighted towards the social platforms now.
Yeah, and it's more real time, isn't it? Like you said, you can do stories, stuff as it's happening, instead of having to wait until it's over to sit and write about it and then publish it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think, and I really enjoy both aspects of it, because I think then you've obviously got the in the moment kind of stuff, which is great, but I think the longevity of the written piece of content and the potential then obviously for the links back and those kind of things.
It's good to have a balance.
The balance, but definitely I think more weighted towards the social media element.
Yeah. So what is the secret to your success as an influencer then, if you had to choose?
I think for me, I really struggle with the seeing myself as an influencer, because I don't actually feel like I am, because like when you look at all the big influencers out there, with the millions of followers and getting PR packages all the time, and they, like I just enjoy sharing stuff. And I think also like working with brands like locally in my area, being invited to an event, I just feel like actually it's great to be able to do a little bit of promotion and help promote their businesses and their products and services. So I actually don't necessarily feel like I'm an influencer as such, but
maybe content creator is a better word for it.
Content creator. I just think that being friendly, like being real and being honest, I think there is nothing worse than going onto someone's social media and you're advertising some sort of, I don't know, product that they would never be interested in.
And constantly advertising as well.
And I think that the world we live in now, that honesty is really important. I think integrity as well. And I think I would never make out that my life is perfect and I'm all happy and skippy and loving life every single day,
because no one is really.
On my blog when I went through a major split up with my ex-partner and how that affected me. I've shared all those kind of things on my blog about like a weight loss journey and those kind of things, because I just think that it's real. It's my real life.
It's relatable. It's being relatable as well, isn't it? Like people can resonate with you and they feel like you're more like a friend, and it comforts them, instead of them looking to you and thinking, like some influencers, they'll probably look to these people and think that they're perfect and feel worse about themselves. It's really hard. Definitely. So it's making sure that you're not, doing that to people.
And I think it's just about, making sure not sharing content specifically to connect with an audience, but the content that you share enables you to connect with your audience.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't alienate you from them and distancing you. It actually kind of makes your relationships with them stronger, because like you say, it does. I see people online and I'm like, blimey. Last week they were like having a good time, and now like they're posting about a redundancy, or and you're like, wow, that, and you feel for them. You feel
empathy.
Really like and you're like, maybe I'll just pop them a quick message and just say, like, I'm really sorry. I don't know you, but I'm really sorry, and I hope things work out for you.
Yeah,
because I think if you share content that is honest and real, it pulls at people's heartstrings, because
Yeah.
it's almost like, okay, well, that might not be me right now, but I've been through something similar
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, or
Know how they feel.
yeah. So I think it's just like nothing. I think is more important than just being real and being honest and being true to yourself, like not being a fake person. Like if you can scroll down my Instagram feed and you see like my life has been difficult for the last few years, and then all of a sudden I'm like, life is amazing.
Yeah.
That's not real. That's
No.
not true to me. You know, and if I only then ever share content that my life is brilliant and everything, and I'm like, "Ugh," but I've been for the last so many years, I've been going, okay, life's great, but next month I had a difficult time. That's being true and being real.
Yeah.
That's true to me and being who I am. If I start sharing content that looks like my life is amazing and brilliant and I never have a bad day and I never have an off day and I'm perfect at everything, that's not being true to me. And if I think is when you start pushing people away.
Yeah. If you love what you're doing as well, which you do, you know, if you have a real passion for it, that shows as well. Like you can see like audiences can feel the authenticity there. So that definitely helps.
And I also know that's the kind of stuff that I value as well when I'm looking on social media at other people's content. So I think it's like attracts like, I think.
Yes, for sure. So what are your current goals as a content creator then?
Oh, I think for me, I've really considered taking it like as a full-time career and really pushing myself, but I really love the enjoyment I get from it as like my side hustle and my you know, I get something from it, but it's not
you're not relying on it for everything.
And I think for me that would take away my real enjoyment and my love for it if I really had to see, you know, if I had to sit down every single day creating content on deadlines, because I know, you know, I need that financial stability to support me and my life and my bills and everything. So I think for me, I never really would like to take it as a full-time career. I would love to pursue and work with more brands and get, you know, increase my following. There are certain things that on, you know, social media like Instagram, I am rubbish because I get really nervous about doing stories and things like that. So there are things, little challenges I need to set myself to get over. But I would really just like to, I guess, be more active, be more me on social media.
So like clips of you speaking or something like
which I always like try and do and then delete because I think I sound like really robotic and really like fake.
I think a lot of people struggle with that though, to be fair.
It's hard.
It's
really hard.
And it's being vulnerable, isn't it?
It is.
Especially when you've got quite a big audience. You think, God, a lot of people are going to watch this.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like, it's funny actually, I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, what's the biggest thing that holds you back? And I'm like, imposter syndrome, the fear of people laughing at me. But actually, if I'm being real and vulnerable, again, like we just said, that is what your audience really wants to see. So like I have to get over I need to look perfect on camera. I need to have my hair done and my makeup on and look immaculate. Because actually that's not real. That's not what you're portraying anyway. Of the time I'm usually like hair up, barefaced, like hair thrown up in a scrunchie or something. And I think that's the kind of things that I would like to do. I would like to be more confident in being real and vulnerable myself. The content I share is very real, but I always get very nervous about it, and I think that's something that I need to get over. So that's definitely one thing I would like to challenge myself with in the next. I would definitely say this year.
Yes, for sure.
But I think I just carry on as I am and just carry on creating the content and building my audience.
Building a community.
I do is all organically. I never do any kind of paid content. So I think to be able to build an audience and an engagement organically is really key for me. So just to continue with that, really, working with some brands. being able to just be proud of the content that I'm sharing, be proud of my blog, and just be proud of another year of being able to work with incredible companies, incredible brands, and share content.
And again, back to like the nervousness speaking on stories. I think with anything as well, like it's doing it, isn't it? Like the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then maybe in like 2 years' time, it'll be second nature, and you'll be like, oh, remember when I wouldn't even do this? And then and then you'd be just doing it out of the blue, pulling your phone out with ease.
By the time you've done the first couple, you're like, what even was the hold up?
That's it, yeah.
What was I stressing about? And then you're like, oh, I should have done this like a year ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's that fear in our head, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Holds us back.
The brain is very powerful.
Definitely, yes.
So where do you see yourself as an influencer in 5 years' time then? So those are your goals, but if you're who you are in 5 years' time, what does that look like?
I think for me, I would really love to have, just have that really good audience that I can go to and just be, like I said, just be me.
Yeah.
And again, would like to have got over that fear factor.
Yes, definitely.
So hopefully someone will be scrolling through my Instagram or my social media and they'll be seeing me like barefaced with no makeup on, or like hair or wet hair, and I've just got out of the shower or whatever. Yeah. And I'm feeling confident talking and not hiding behind the fact that I feel like I need to look perfect to go on camera. So that's a really big thing for me. I think because I don't put the pressure on myself, as in I want to turn this into career. I just really enjoy it, and in 5 years' time, I still would like to be in the position that I just still really sit down at my laptop and get the buzz from writing, the buzz from content creating. I would never want that feeling to go away, because I just love it. I actually really thrive on it. It really, I know a lot of people say that you shouldn't be on social media a lot of the time, and it's bad for you and stuff. And yes, there are elements.
It can be, but
I've been very lucky. I've never experienced any negativity online. And I've only ever experienced positivity and support. And for me, content creation is just something I just really get a massive buzz from it. And I still hope in 5 years' time I am getting the buzz, writing content, sharing on whatever platforms we have.
Yes, who knows?
And yeah, just enjoying things, enjoying sharing content, and who knows what the world will look like at that point. But yeah, I just think for me, the only thing I would say is I would really hope that there are brands and companies out there who will start to look more at those more smaller content creators who don't have the massive following but have really, really good engagement.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, I do think it's going that way. I think, because you could have millions of followers, but none of them like or comment or share. But then you could have 2,000 followers and they all like and comment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for me, like, I follow quite a lot of the really big content creators on Instagram, and it's when you go on Instagram stories, then you flip between the stories and you're seeing each of them open the same PR package, like on different stories, and that is amazing. But you're like, I feel some of them don't, not all of them by any means, but I don't feel that all of them feel grateful for that position that they're in. And I think when you're a smaller content creator, to work with a brand, you feel very lucky, you feel very grateful.
Definitely.
And you do want to do as much as possible to be able to promote that brand and share the content. And I think that sometimes you just see these bigger content creators and they're like, oh, well, they've just sent me this and I don't have to post it and share it. And you're like, well, if I receive any content from any brands, I'm always extremely grateful. I always want to share the content and share, honest opinions from myself. I would never not share something that I didn't think was a good product, but would do as much as I possibly could to help that brand and help that business. So I would like to see that kind of switch happening, and like you said, you definitely feel and see that switch is happening.
Yeah.
Starting to happen now, but
Yes.
it's when you see these really, really big content creators and they're like, oh, I've just had like a £10,000 coat sent to me, but I was watching a YouTube video the other day of a particular content creator, and she was like, oh, but I think it's too, they sent me the too big a size.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear.
Oh,
And you're like,
no.
okay.
Yeah, I'll have it.
Yeah. I would have a coat even if it was 50 quid.
Yeah, literally.
So, yeah, I think it's just, and I do feel that the world itself, you know, they are general, you know, people on social media are starting to feel that that constant sharing of PR and stuff is a bit not necessarily appropriate at all times.
Yes, I know what you mean.
And so I think, you know, that shift will happen. I hope, but you know, within 5 years, smaller content creators but with a really, really good engaged audience, really good following, people who genuinely care about products, not just because they're being paid or it's being gifted, but have a genuine care and love for the products will become more seen in the world,
for sure,
in the social media world.
So do you have like a following count goal, or are you not really fussed about that as such, more engagement?
A few years ago, I used to become really, particularly on Instagram, I became really obsessed with numbers and stats. But I think actually, again, particularly with Instagram, it's not about a follower number.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's that is, I think years ago, obviously, before stories had the link option, you know, you used to have the get 10,000 and then you get your swipe up option.
Yes, yeah.
I think that's gone away now, so I don't feel that is quite, the pressure is quite there so much. I used to become very obsessed by, I need to get to this number, and then people will start to look at me. But actually, it's more about your engagement, and you know,
for sure.
you can have 100,000 followers, but if you're having a really small engagement rate, then you don't really have an engaged audience. So I think that's more, and it is funny actually, because working in the social media digital marketing world, you become more aware of those kind of key factors
definitely,
that are really important. And actually, when I was obsessed with like numbers, I didn't have that back knowledge there. Now having all of that knowledge and understanding of how kind of, you know, the importance of numbers and stats, but actually the follower numbers are important, but actually there's many more metrics that are more important.
There's more behind it than just that.
That actually, I'm like, I'm not so obsessed with follower numbers. I just kind of, you know, one day I would like to get to maybe 10,000 followers, but it's not, I'm not putting a specific time period on it. If, you know, that may be one of my things for being 5 years time.
Yes, yeah.
If it happens before then, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think it's more about your audience and how you engage with them, rather than a number that doesn't actually give any real detail about it. It's just a number of followers. It doesn't mean that you have, you know, if you have 100,000 followers, it doesn't mean you have 100,000 people looking at your content and engaging with it. And so it used to be a big obsession for me.
Yes, but not so much now.
Yeah.
So what is your dream brand to work with then? Do you have a particular brand in mind, or?
I have actually been very, very lucky, and that I have actually worked with one of my dream brands.
Oh, really?
So more on a local basis, but I've actually worked with Molton Brown, who has been one of my dream brands.
Oh, wow.
And I've been not so much anymore, but a year or so, and just before the pandemic and just a little bit after, I was actually, I wouldn't say an ambassador, but I worked with a local branch in the local area I live, and got invited to a lot of events, product launches, those kind of things. So I feel very, very lucky to have been able to work with Molton Brown. They are a dream brand. products are amazing. And from there, I've actually been introduced to one of my absolute favorite perfumes, which is now my forever scent.
Oh wow.
So found some incredible products, which is great, but not so great for my bank balance.
Oh well. You deserve it.
I think probably there's lots of brands I would like to work with. I don't know if there's one specific dream brand. I already feel very lucky to have worked with Molton Brown, who is just been a massive love of mine for years and years. But I think just working with I really like working with a lot of smaller local businesses, because I think to be able to help promote like newly launched businesses and things like that, just really give them a little bit of promotion and a bit of boost, I think is really key, and it really gives something back to the community that you live in. And I think if you have an audience that you've got followers who live within the area that I am, it's really good to be able to share content and promote like brands in the area and businesses and bars and restaurants. So
because then those followers will go and support those brands themselves.
And I think that's kind of really, I guess post-pandemic, when everyone's been struggling, local businesses
definitely
have been struggling a little bit more. I think it's just nice to be able to do something, just a little bit of something to help them. So I feel very lucky to have worked with Molton Brown and always be very grateful for that. But I do think that dream brands probably will change every day, but I think being able to support local small businesses is actually more of a dream because it helps them. And I think for me, I being able to help people is something that's really important to me.
Amazing. So last question then, to finish off, what is your best piece of advice for those wanting to become or grow as an influencer within your niche? So if you could sum up pretty much everything we spoke about, what would you tell those people?
I think for me, I would say just go and do it. Don't put barriers in your way. If you want to go and try and work with brands, approach them. Don't be over egotistical about things, because I think sometimes that can put people off. But be honest. Be honest about your following. Be honest about the kind of content that you could create for them. Be honest about how long you will take, because also that's something else I think is really key is timing.
Being realistic as well.
If it's no good if you're like, you can't create content, you go to an event and then you can't create content for like a month afterwards.
There's no point then.
So be very honest and open with them, but I think just approach them.
Put yourself out there. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, there is so many ways to be able to contact people now and brands, whereas again, when I started, you used to have to really like try and Google search and try and find an email address.
But they're all over socials now.
Or something. But now there's so many ways to get in contact with people, and if they don't reply, they don't reply. But,
at least you tried. You never know unless you ask.
Keep trying. I think I approached a couple of brands when I first started. I didn't hear anything back from them at all. And then probably a couple of years ago, I reapproached them with, a greater kind of following level, a greater understanding of being able to promote myself. And I was very lucky to be able to work with them. So I think, it doesn't, just because you get a no once, doesn't necessarily mean it's a no always.
Yes, exactly.
And I think, again, just be yourself, be true to yourself. Don't create a fake personality. Don't create something that you're not, and don't share content that isn't true to yourself. So if you would never use a product that you're being offered to review, don't go and share it just because it's being gifted to you or you're being paid to do it. Because I only ever share content that I think I love using or I think is would be useful to me and my audience. If it's something I would never use, your audience are going to see straight away that, like, if if I've shared a blog post 5 years ago about how I broke my ankle and I can't wear high-heeled shoes, but then all of a sudden I'm promoting a brand of stilettos.
Yeah, people are going to think, yeah.
I regularly would talk about how I can't, I'm upset that I couldn't wear high-heeled shoes anymore. So just be true to yourself, because and remember, the content that you put out there is always there, and people can go back and check things. So, yeah.
And putting out content that you're proud of, like you mentioned earlier, you know, is really important.
Definitely. Be proud of it. Don't shy away from it. And also, like, share it and share it everywhere. And because for the first couple of years I had my blog, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell my friends.
You worry people will like judge you or whatever, but if they do, then they're not great friends anyway. And the likelihood is they'll support you.
They will support you. And the thing is, if they don't, what are they actually doing in their life anyway?
Exactly.
You're actually going out and actively trying something that you want to try because you think it's something you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't support you with your dreams and ambitions, then they're not people who you would really want in your life anyway. But just go for it and just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't overthink it as well. Overthinking is the killer, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Don't overthink it, because I have been so guilty in the past of like writing content, deleting the entire thing because I reread it and I'm like, that sounds so rubbish.
Yeah.
Just don't overthink it. Just, go with what naturally comes out of you, because that's your natural personality, your natural voice.
Yeah.
That's how, if you think about how you would speak to somebody in real life, if you were having a face-to-face conversation with them, that's put that personality into content.
You don't edit the conversation you have in real life, do you?
No. So if you use slang or those things, then use that kind of terminology, because that's you as a person.
And people know, don't they, when you're being real?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And as well, back to like worrying about people judging you for or whatever, you know, people might do that at the start, but then often in a couple of years when you're actually doing really well, they'll come back to you and be like, oh, well, you know, you're doing really well, aren't you? And thinking, well, you were judging me for it 2 years ago when I wasn't doing well. So
I think a lot of people think that like careers or stuff online is always a bit like, oh, you just do a bit of this, or you just post a picture.
They don't realise it's actually like quite a lot of work.
A lot of work
and skill.
Behind it, a lot of work. And you don't get, I had many people say to me when I started, oh, you get loads of stuff sent to you for free. You just have to write about it. I'm like, yeah, do you know how much goes into that?
Yeah, so and they never do.
You have to build it. You don't just get stuff sent to you for free. You get stuff because you work hard to build up a following on social media. You build up all your DA on your blog. It's a lot of hard work behind the scenes.
That's like your payment almost, isn't it? Like you get in a normal job in cash. So
it's not just about getting things sent to you for free. There's work that goes into it, and be proud of all that hard work.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's a job. It is a job, and if you're doing it as well as a full-time career, then be even more proud, because
that's a lot of work.
Trying to do it all is hard, but if you can do it all, then you should be extremely proud of yourself.
Yeah, don't let that imposter syndrome creep in if you can help it. I know it's hard.
Thank you so much to Sarah for coming on and chatting to me today. I learnt a lot and had so much fun. Make sure to follow Sarah and us here at iNFLUWURK on all of the social media platforms. The links are in the description below. If you're an influencer and would like to be part of our Q&A series, send an email to summer@influwurk.com and we will schedule a video call. Happy influencing, and I'll see you in the next one.